What's up, guys? This is the Gospel according to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. And look at what I've got here. This is Star Trek, the Gold Key collection. All right, and this is like the comics from like back in maybe the 60s or something like that. Of course, they're reprinted. And, they go through like all of the, original series and the 5-year mission, and it's pretty cool, man. It's like if you read this in the voice of the show, you can almost feel like these are additional episodes. It's like they're very well thought out, very exciting, very entertaining. And if you have a little bit of extra time at home, like a lot of us do these days, you can get into things like this, or you can binge watch. All right, and if you're binge watching Trek these days, then I don't know, you might find yourself looking at Picard or giving it a try. And one thing that you might notice that's missing in Picard, it would be captain's logs or log entries or star dates and things like that. And, pretty much every other Trek has had this. So this is kind of missing. And I think it started with Discovery, STD. And in a recent interview, the showrunner, Michael Chabon, addressed why they don't have that. Now even in this comic, they have it. Let's see, they have... where is it? Yes, here it is. Every comic starts, just like every episode starts. Captain's log, stardate 3247.5. We have a solid lead now on what has driven the entire planet of Nokoli into violent madness, but General Vlas and his co-conspirators are already on the march. So it kind of puts you into the scenario and what's going on. It's kind of Star Trek's unique way of guiding the viewer, or in this case the reader, along the adventure with our heroes. And I always felt that was pretty cool. It really kind of gives you that feeling that you're in a different reality, in a different world. To me, it's like very effective world building, right? But Michael Chabon has ideas on why he didn't include it in the series Picard, all right? So let's see what it says here. This article is boundingintocomics.com, and the headline goes, Star Trek Picard showrunner Michael Chabon explains the lack of log entries and star dates. And this is by Jorge Arenas. And it goes on to say, the captain's log that we normally see at the beginning of a new episode of many Star Trek shows has been missing since Star Trek Discovery. They didn't make a comeback with Star Trek Picard, and it's a noticeable difference. Picard showrunner Michael Chabon recently explained why there are no personal logs in Picard when he was asked by a fan. He answered the question as part of his ongoing interaction with fans on his Instagram. Chabon was asked, there aren't any personal logs on Picard. Can you speak to this in terms of craft? Chabon replies, voiceover narration rarely improves a story and often harms or detracts from it. It's my view that it only really works, only enhances the pleasure of a viewer when it is used as commentary on the action on screen, ironically, to undercut or call into question either what we are seeing, what we are being told, the veracity of the narrator, or all three. Chabon concludes, think Sunset Boulevard, or at times Goodfellas. It can be alright too, as an occasional framing device, as in Data's Day, but as a framing device, every episode it is wearisome. How about that? Chabon would also explain why Picard does not show star dates. He was asked, has anyone on the show used star dates? Let's see. Chabon answered, star dates in my view, and I know this is going to make some people mad. See, this is when you know that you're heading into some shit. He even knows he shouldn't say it. Shut up, Michael Chabon. But no, here he goes. I know this is going to make some people mad, are a uniquely perverse form of uninformative information. Yes, star dates, in his view, and he knows it's going to make some people mad, are a uniquely perverse form of uninformative information. He went on to explain, using star dates tells you precisely nothing. Oh my God, are you hearing this? Okay, Stardates have been used on Star Trek for like 50 years, but this man, all right, this hack, this misfit thinks that he's gonna come in here and reinvent the wheel. He feels that it's unimportant, it's uninformative, therefore leave it the fuck out. He doesn't care, all right? This is what's wrong with all of these properties, all of these science fiction and science fantasy properties that they're coming forward with now. If you felt that it was unnecessary, right, then why the hell are you in Star Trek? Why are you in Star Wars? Why are you in Doctor Who? Take your disrespectful, non-accepting of lore having ass somewhere else. Create your own thing. You know what I mean? It's like, why? Because they want to keep using the brand. They want to use what's already been established and they want to gut it. Disgusting. They want to rip it open. They want to pull out all the guts of what made it what it was. Dump it on a table and then start stuffing it with your own ideals and your own twisted values and all that stuff. But you want to keep the same name, Star Trek, even though everything inside is different. You know, so this guy thinks in his infinite wisdom that he can build a better Star Trek. And in his Star Trek, Stardates, they don't matter. I guess Gene Roddenberry came up with that for no fucking reason whatsoever, right? Even though it does help you to immerse yourself into that world. All right, so he went on to explain, using a Stardate tells you precisely nothing. Even people who know how to interpret and convert them have to go off and interpret and convert them to have them mean something. Oh, you mean they have to think? Oh, that's something that sci-fi and sci-fiction fans, science fantasy fans never had a problem with. All right, a lot of us love to think. We love to imagine. For us, it's not a bother. It's a joy. It's excitement. It's what pulls us into this world. Giving an audience the Stardate is like if I wanted to know if I needed to put on a sweater or not. And if you told me the temperature outside in Kelvin, it's 287 out. I don't know what the fuck that means. All right, moving on. The reason Stardates rarely made sense was that as producers and writers came in and out of the franchise, they formulated their own ways of coming up with them. And that's the problem, all right? You have to immerse yourself in the established world. You don't make the established world bend to your will. That's where you go wrong. It's like you have to respect the world that you're stepping into. That should be rule number one. If you can't do that, take your non-imagination having ass somewhere else. Create your own thing, like I said before. You don't belong in a world that's already been created. Nobody gets born into this world and think they're going to reinvent the laws of nature. It just is what it is. If you try to do that, it can end up bad for you. All right, there are some universal truths out there. It's just not going to work for your will. You know, you just can't will it to be what you want it to be. The world is going to be what it is. And in much the same way, the world that has been established in science fiction and science fantasy should be honored. You shouldn't try to bend it, because if you do, you'll end up with something entirely different, which is what we're seeing here. All right, let's see. Though it's true that the information given by them is rarely of real value to the story ahead of the view, they do, in my view at least, help world build in a subtle sense. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, so this guy, he understands. What do you think of Michael Chabon's views on Stardates and Captain's logs? Do you miss hearing them in Star Trek, or is this a proper evolution for the series? And of course, that is the argument that you hear a lot these days, because of course, anytime you raise your voice to say something is wrong, you can expect about 10 times that are going to come back and tell you to shut the hell up. You know, it's just grow up. It's just the evolution of the series. You know, the series had to go this way. It can't stay the same the whole time. But like I said, I just think a lot of people are misunderstanding. It's not a matter of just not wanting to change. It's a matter of this is that world. All right, there are actually rules that have been established. That's how it is. Now, it would have been more respectful, I think, to say that in Picard, at least, I can understand why there wouldn't be Captain's logs or Stardates, or, well, not Stardates, but Captain's logs, because he's no longer a captain. All right, I mean, this is pretty far from Star Trek, Picard is, you know, that I could possibly imagine. So, yeah, you're into a different thing, and this is what I'm talking about. you change things so much to, it's going to get to a point where it's not even what we recognize anymore. So that's how I feel about it. Michael Chabon, all I have to say to you is sheer fucking hubris to think that you can come in and change things this way. I reject what you're saying, sir. I reject it. Either you bend to the world that you're stepping into, or you leave it alone. You don't try to bend the world to your will. It doesn't work that way. But I could be wrong, okay? What do you think? You can get in the comment section and let me know. How do you feel about the fact that Stardates and Captain's Logs and all that stuff, it's missing, from Star Trek now? Does it take away from what Star Trek is or how it's presented? Or do you actually feel that it's the natural evolution of Trek? It's going forward, not going backwards or anything like that. Get in the comment section. Let me know. Of course, your voice is always welcome. You can like, you can share, you can subscribe. And of course, I always say when you subscribe, hit the notification bell. I swear to you guys, everyone's telling me every day that they don't get notifications. Of course, if you're watching this, chances are that you got a notification. So you don't have to get in the comment section and say, I still get my notifications. I understand. It's just the ones who come in after months, who have been riding with me for a long time and say, I didn't even know you were still doing videos. I don't get notifications. That's what I'm talking about. So just double check and make sure that you're still subscribed. And you hit all. All makes all the difference in the world. And I am on Twitter. I'm going to leave the link in the comment section so you can click on there. And there's a PayPal there too if you would like to help out. That sure would be dandy. And guys, I will see you on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Be safe out there and rock on.